afternoon and welcome to JoyNews Today. We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We're streaming across all our social media handles. We're JoyNews on TV. Coming up this afternoon, lawyers for businessman Richard Jakpa files a court application alleging prosecutorial abuse, urging the court to strike out charges against him in the controversial ambulance case. We have details as the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the attorney welcomes a request by the minority leader for a live media broadcast of the trial.
No objection to that request, but of course, subject to the discretion of the Chief Justice. Because we believe in transparency, we believe in accountability, and we abhor misreporting.
Also in this bulletin, the Electoral Commission exceeds target for the limited voter registration exercise by over 100,000. Do stay for details and more. And later in the bulletin, residents of Adabraka, Sahara charge authorities to construct bigger drains to address the severe sanitation issues they face. My name is Faustina Safo. Do stay tuned in. We'll be back. Your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. We start with lawyers for the third accused in the controversial ambulance case, Richard Jakpa, because they have filed an application in court for an order striking out the charges against him. In his affidavit in support, Mr. Jakpa testifies on oath that the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah-Dame has had several interactions with him in which he has admitted that he, Mr. Jakpa, was innocent and assured him of his acquittal. He is member of a legal affairs desk, Kweku Asante, with details.
Seeking two main reliefs. One, striking out the charges and accordingly terminating the proceedings against the third accused applicant, that is the third accused person, or alternatively, a stay of the proceedings before the court against the third accused applicant. They base this on the Constitution of Ghana. They say that the Attorney General, at whose instance the third accused is being prosecuted in this instance suit, has brought the charges, instituted the proceedings in abuse of the process of the court and contrary to the constitutional obligations and Article 23 and 296 of the 1992 Constitution. They then proceed to talk about how they believe that the Attorney General has been abusing his discretionary and prosecutory powers contrary to Articles 23, 88.3 and 296 of the Constitution. And they say that in engagements with the third accused person, the Attorney General has admitted to him, Richard Jakpa, that there's no case against him, for which reason they believe the court must order that the charges against him is struck out. Honorable Dame met the accused person. Those details are not gone into in this application. We assume that it will come up under cross-examination should this application be granted for a mini trial of assault. And it says under paragraph 16 that Honorable Dame explained to me, that is Richard Jakpa, that this case had to be undertaken because of pressure from the former finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and the president, and assured him repeatedly that he was not the target of the prosecution. It is based on this interaction that Jakpa had with Richard Godfred Dame, that he says a relationship of trust developed between them because he believed that since Dame is a lawyer and a person who initiated the prosecution, he assured him that as an agent, he was not in law liable for the principal's action, that is Big C's conduct in the entire contract.
But is there precedent for this new application to present the evidence from Jakpa to the court? And can a mini trial be held within the main trial? Well, lawyer Lamtin Apanga has been providing some details.
Quite a novel application, a novel issue. I do not remember in my almost 12 years practice of the law having experienced a thing of this sort. And so it is quite novel. We do not have established precedents within our jurisdiction. But there are some precedents outside the jurisdiction of Ghana, within the other jurisdictions in UK and in US and India, but and even Nigeria as well. But those ones will only have persuasive impact on the courts and not have any binding precedents on the court in Ghana. Mini trials are allowed in criminal proceedings. For instance, during the admission of evidence by the prosecution, particularly when the prosecution witness, usually the CID, intends to tender in evidence, which is a statement taken by an accused person. And the accused person says that I am not the one who made this statement, or this statement was made under coercion or some undue influence. The judge will hold a mini trial within the entire trial. It means that the entire proceedings will be suspended in a way to allow the matter in respect of the admission of that particular evidence to be determined. So the court will now call on the prosecution to prove whether or not this particular statement was taken at a time when the person was in sound mind, was no undue influence, the presence of his lawyer, was given all the rights. The person or the accused person also making the allegation that the statement was taken out of some undue influence or some coercion or some other contrary position will also lead evidence.
Meanwhile, the minority leader, Dr. Kaisel Autoforsen, is impressing on the Chief Justice, Gertrude Tukono, to allow a live broadcast of his ongoing trial because of the public interest the case has generated after businessman Richard Jakpa alleged in open court that the AG has been impressing on him to incriminate the minority leader. Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tueyeboa, who welcomes the idea, says the minority leader's request is in the interest of justice.
We have no objection to that request, but of course, subject to the discretion of the Chief Justice. Because we believe in transparency, we believe in accountability, and we abhor misreporting. And so, if the Chief Justice, in her wisdom, decides that this matter should be live, we have no objection to say. In fact, the AG at different fora had indicated that when it comes to public interest matters, or matters where the public has that kind of interest, it will be the interest of justice that such proceedings are broadcast live on tele and on radio. So we have no objection to it. But as I said, the CJ has the final say. Not only the broadcast, we're also looking at a situation where we maybe have day-to-day hearing so that we can get to the end of this matter as soon as possible. So the broadcast, if possible, may have to go with day-to-day hearing so that we can get to the end of this particular matter.
Just give me a bit of education here. If you look at Article 296, exercise of discretionary power, it says, where in this constitution or in any other law discretionary power is vested in any person or authority, A, that discretionary power should be deemed to imply a duty to be fair and candid. B, the exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious or biased either by resentment, prejudice or personal dislike, and shall be in accordance with the due process of the law. Now, looking at this, was your department fair and candid in rejecting a plea that was paying almost 90% of a debt for which you were prosecuting some people?
We were fair and candid. The discretion vested in the Attorney General to either reject or accept such an offer was properly exercised. And for that matter, we have no reservations or problems with regard to the decision taken by the Attorney General in rejecting the offer. When it comes to prosecution,
Well, let's stay with legal issues because some residents of Jirapa municipality have voiced their anger and frustration about the purported decision by the Chief Justice Gertrude Tukono to transfer the case involving the gruesome murder of the owner of Royal Cozy Hills Hotel, Eric Johnson, to Kumasi. In a petition to the Chief Justice ahead of the burial on Saturday, a group calling itself Concerned Youth of Jirapa stated that the transfer of the case would not only impede the justice they are seeking, but also come at great cost to them as well, as they need to travel to Kumasi for each court section. Well, JoyNews' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
For close to 4 months, they have been grieving.
I can't talk. I'm not of West. But the Almighty God and the people of Jirapa, that's in Dharma, the elders of Jirapa should get up. Whatever they can do to bring justice, we are behind them.
They are grieving over the loss of a man they considered an oak tree whose importance and philanthropy has gone beyond the boundaries of its over 3 kilometer square Royal Cozy Hills Hotel and Safari Resort, and by extension the Jiriba municipality. Eric Johnson was gruesomely murdered in cold blood on February 10 this year at his private residence. 3 persons, including former human resource manager of his hotel, Ilyasa Afanyiche Mahama, and Belinda Miller, have been arrested in connection with his murder and were billed to appear at the Wahai Court last week for the commencement of the trial. The presiding judge, Justice Yusuf Asibi, however, adjourned the case to June 12 following a letter purported to have been written by the Chief Justice, Justice Getru Tekonu, transferring the case out of the Wahai Court to another High Court in Kumasi for the trial. Ahead of his burial slated for this weekend, close family members, landlords, market women, persons with disabilities, and tricycle operators under the banner of Concerned Youth of Jiriba Municipality are incensed about the decision of the Chief Justice. They have therefore petitioned the Chief Justice to rescind her decision, urging her not to look only at the interests of the first accused murder, but the interests of the sea of people whose interest is hinged on the case, and allow the status quo to remain. John Apolong is the public relations officer of the Jiriba Municipal Youth Association, and he read a petition on their behalf.
The petition by his mother, which is under consideration to relocate the proceedings, has been received with grave concern, caused great distress and suspicion of the possible miscarriage of justice within the Jiriba municipality, the Upper West region, and at large, Ghana. As aggrieved citizens seeking justice and fairness, we believe that justice must be done in this case. As you reckoned, the jury has already been impaneled, and the Wahai Court is ready to hear the case. The transfer could further delay and undermine the integrity of the judicial process. This is unjust and prejudicial, and we register our resentment via this petition as members of the deceased family.
Chairman of the Jiriba Municipal Youth Association, Jude Kobe, stated that due to their vested interest in the case, they will have to follow it keenly by appearing at each court session, but with a purported transfer, they will not be able to because of the huge costs involved.
And we are appealing to the Lordship, the government, and I trust President Akufo-Addo that they should try their best to reverse this decision of sending this matter to Kumasi. For me, as a youth chairman, I'm always very frank. If this matter is not referred to WA and it's still going to Kumasi, with my colleagues and the whole youth and the Jiriba municipality, the Tendamas and everybody, who will take a different step. And that different step that we will take, it will not spare. It will not help the government and whoever in Ghana. That's our decision. Honestly, we are not happy about what is going on. Why will one person, somebody is suspected to kill somebody, that is, I mean, feeding a whole lot of people. The mother is at court and they said that person mother have appealed to the Lordship that the matter should be sent to Kumasi High Court. Is that we don't have a High Court in WA? Or are they telling us the High Court in WA, the judges are no good?
It is not only the youth who were here. We saw market women and the Tendames who also poured their effusions about the situation.
We still plead that it should be done and be done right. And the right thing to be done is not to transfer to anywhere. Not anywhere. Not even Buane, because our regional capital is Wa, and so shall it be.
You want to take the case away from us to Kumasi. What are you thinking of us? Is Jiriba not in Ghana? Or we are strangers and not Ghanaians. Our regional capital is Wa and not Kumasi. We won't accept it.
listening to the conversations around, you will know that Eric Johnson is being described as one man who is a generator that lives several thousands of bulbs in the Yoruba community and beyond. What the people are calling for is nothing but justice. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam, Yoruba.
We stay with legal issues now because the Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has charged newly enrolled lawyers to the bar to be agents of change to the legal practice by exhibiting competence, integrity, and upholding the rule of law. The event, which is the first of 2 of such programs to take place this year, saw 182 handed the certificate to legally practice as lawyers in the country. There's more.
So as you jump in excitement, let me also whisper to you to please calm down and approach this profession with all your ears, mind, and thoughts. The lawyer and society. If there is anything that history should teach us, it is that humanity will always challenge itself and compel the communities we live in to change and morph. The history of nations, families, and identity of individuals seem to constantly ebb and flow from one structure to another. Kindly reflect on the structurally strong ways in which society has been changing in the last century and the last decade. The hitherto seemingly resilient doctrine of sovereignty of nations that dominated the history of nations in the last century and after the First World War is now being challenged on every continent with wars, secessions, and ethnic upheavals. Just when it seemed that democracy as a form of governance had settled down after colonialism, a different wave of asserting power is sweeping across nations. What does it mean for the governance of contemporary developing nations such as ours? What contributions can lawyers make to the stability and prosperity of our country and our communities? How well do we understand technology and the demands of societies that affect the landscape of our legal world?
Where your election headquarters and presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has asserted that Ghana would be better positioned to benefit from the fourth industrial revolution under his watch. He explained that government has already laid the foundation by implementing the digitalization agenda. He said this at various encounters with clergy, Muslim clerics, traditional authorities, and youth in Ho during his tour of the Volta region.
Dr. Bawumia and his team began his tour with separate meetings with clergymen and Muslim clerics where he shared his vision to transform Ghana. He touched on his digitization agenda, the transformation of the agricultural sector, the introduction of a flat tax system, and reduced import duty, among others.
To bring in about 200 buses this year, electric vehicles, to do a proof of concept so that everybody will see how the electric buses can bring down the cost, and then we will take it from there. But if you don't bring down the cost of transport, so many people of our population rely on public transport. Most of our population, maybe 80–90%, rely on public transport. So bringing down the public transport cost will bring down the cost of living.
Addressing the traditional authorities at the Volta Region House of Chiefs, he stressed his commitment to positioning Ghana to reap from the fourth industrial revolution through digitization.
And I believe that we can do even better in the fourth industrial revolution than many of the advanced countries that we see. It is possible for us to do better even than the advanced countries. Sometimes when I say this, many people do not understand. And then I say that, look, the foundation of the digital society, any digital society, is digital ID. Everybody must be digitally identified, must have a unique identity.
The president of the Volta Region House of Chiefs, Togbe Teprehudu, implored Dr. Bawumia to use his influence to resolve chieftaincy disputes in the country.
I was telling some of my colleague chiefs that I was counsel to one of the factions in the Abudu Adani conflict so many years ago. Your Excellency, the cost aspect of that alone is mind-boggling. I therefore want to make a special plea to you that it is an issue which is dear to the heart of the institution. And I'll urge you to do all you can to assist judicial committees, right from the Traditional Council to the National House of Chiefs, to nip this canker in the bud.
The team made their way to the whole central market where Dr. Bawumia was mobbed by the traders. He sang NPP-affiliated songs and swamped Dr. Bawumia as he made his way through the market to familiarize himself with the traders. He wrapped his store with the Youth Connect, where he addressed students, artisans and the youth, urging them to elect him as the next president of Ghana. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News.
Head now to the Ashanti region, where consistent standoff between farmers and contractors working on the Konongo Bypass Road project over unresolved compensation is negatively affecting progress of work. Early this month, residents who once farmed on the area designated for the bypass prevented the road contractors from performing their duties. Now, project consultant engineer Eric Pramensa explained some equipment were destroyed by the farmers who besieged the construction site demanding compensation. The 15.4-kilometer Konongo bypass is part of the ongoing efforts by government to dualize the Accra-Kumasi highway to help reduce vehicular traffic and accidents. Nani Aljima has more in this report.
In the early part of May, the farmers who are yet to be fully compensated by government took to the construction site to register their displeasure. The construction company had to cease operations for days as aggrieved persons burnt ties and blocked roads to the site. Some of the farmers between Yaokwe and Odumase Stretch have now received part of their compensation as the valuation team go through processes to finalize payment. Consultant for the project, engineer Eric Pramensa, gives details of the situation.
Initially, some were compensated partly. But then they are calling for full compensation. And you know the valuation team must come in, they have to do assessment and a lot of paperwork. Just that they are not trying to be patient. That's all. The issue is that they don't want to be patient with us. We try to explain to them the modalities of this valuation work and they don't understand. And then even they damaged one of our bulldozers. Yeah, one of them, they damaged it. But as I said, we are working on it. The government has given us assurance that the money will be released to them soon.
The 15.4-kilometer Konongo bypass is part of the ongoing efforts by government to dualize the Accra-Kumasi highway to reduce vehicular traffic and accidents. Over 7 kilometers of swampy areas have been excavated and filled with boulders. So far, the contractors have completed the clearing of road alignments and are progressing with construction of culverts, bridges and earthworks. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah has toured the project site to assess progress of work. Construction is about 46% complete, 2 months ahead of project period.
There are two contractors, Mr. Kofi Job Construction Limited and Joshua Company Limited. They are all doing very well, and unfortunately a greater portion of the road is swampy, so they've done a lot of work for about 7 kilometers. They've done excavation of the bad material and filled it with boulders. As you can witness, this is the end of the 7-kilometer portion.
For Joy News, Nana Aljima, Kumasi.
It's time now for our field exhibition, and residents of Adabraka Sahara are charging authorities to construct drains to address their severe sanitation issues. They claim the government has neglected the area, and this is possibly due to the strong support for the NDC. Suchi Abuchi reports from Adabraka.
This is Adabraka Sahara, right here in the heart of Accra. And this open gutter, you see, is right in the middle of the street where about 2 school buildings are. Now, it's the morning after about 6 hours of heavy downpour of rain. And we came to assess the situation here. Aside the filth that has engulfed this community, the issues that they raise are alarming. They speak about the neglect of the ruling party because this is not an NPP stronghold. Let's hear the story of filth from the horse's own mouth.
You're from Joe, but I'm zone.
My name is Joe, and my issue is that they say this is an NDC zone, so they won't construct a gutter for us. They have fixed those in the market in Odona, but left this one. Is this nice? Those they have fixed are in hidden places, yet this open one has been neglected. Government, come and construct the gutter for us. As for me, I will not beg the government because they don't beg me to vote for them. They should fix it if they want. Otherwise, they can leave it like that.
Livingston is one of the residents who live here at Adabraka, and he wants to speak about the dire circumstances they find themselves every time the rains come. Let's hear his story now.
When the rains come, we suffer. The place becomes dangerous. They don't drain the gutter as well as they should. AMA was here last week, and this is the result of the work they did. This is why our homes get flooded when it rains. They have politicized the whole thing, but we are all Ghanaians. Initially, they used to bring machines to drain the gutter, but now they use their hands. How would they do a good job? Malaria is a common disease here. It's so worrying. Our children are constantly falling sick. We need government to come to our aid.
My heart goes out to residents in this community, people who live here, who work here, and the students who use this road on a daily basis to get education. If indeed this is an intentional neglect of the ruling New Patriotic Party, because this is not an MPP stronghold, and if again indeed this is the best work that the AMA can do to distill this gutter, then we are faced with a dire sanitation crisis. And only God knows to what end this goes. For Joy News, I'm Sweetie Abochi.
The Electoral Commission is said to have exceeded the target for the limited voter registration exercise by over 100,000 more. The EC targeted to register 623,000 new voters at the first start of the 23-day exercise, which prolonged by 2 more days. But the last 1 day stood up at almost 750,000. The figure is likely to go up even more after the final tally, but the fate of some 13,000 registrants hangs in the balance as the EC begins the process to investigate claims they violated the electoral rules during the exercise. Dr. Sribo Kweku, who is the Director of Electoral Services, tells my colleague Elton Brobe on the polls that the EC will decide to prosecute after the exercise. You're still watching JoyNews Today. We're taking a quick breather. We'll be back with business, sports, and showbiz. Do stay tuned in.
Hi, welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao, Managing Director of the Ghana Water Company Limited. Engineer Dr. Clifford Bryma is urging the town and fiscal planning institutions to collaborate and work with each other in order to provide the needed infrastructure for water supply in new and developing communities across the country. He was speaking at the third PRC regulatory conversation in Accra.
The third PURC regulatory conversation is part of the Commission's ongoing effort to enhance transparency, engage public interest, and serve as an educational tool. Executive Secretary of the PURC, Dr. Ishmael Aka, emphasized the importance of water in the domestic economy.
Water has a cultural attribute. So when you go to the Ashanti region, you can hear a town called Esuo. You never find Kanya Yeboah in anywhere in Ghana. Now, what it means is that there's a cultural, social perspective when it comes to ownership, when it comes to protection, when it comes to the use of water. So if today we don't have electricity, so far as there are transmission lines, we can import electricity from Togo or somewhere, Cote d'Ivoire. If you don't have water, it will be very difficult to import water.
Ebokwe Green is the board chairman of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission.
Even though PRC's water mandate is limited to urban areas, the Commission, from its vantage position as a sole regulator of energy and water utility services, has acquired deep insights into cross-cutting structural and operational bottlenecks that exist between the urban and rural structures. It is worth noting that despite significant progress in the water sector in Ghana, obstacles persist that impede universal access to safe drinking water. These circumstances have prompted us to question whether, after several years of implementing the aforementioned reforms, it is not time to reassess the situation.
Managing Director of Ghana Water Limited, Engineer Dr. Clifford Brymer, called for proper town planning.
Somebody goes to build because the place he needs a plot, probably far away from city center. When he gets there, he now wants you to extend water to the person. And so for me, to lay a 4-inch pipe to a community, I am looking at how many people I'm going to serve and how many days, how many months will it take for us, for people to pay through the tariff for us to recoup it. If that cannot be done, you send the water there, it seems that from day one, you are in a loss and you are supposed to be in business. And so some of these things come, and that's why we think that the fiscal planning people should take it up and let us work together.
The third PURC regulatory conversation focused on the theme confronting the status quo of Ghana's drinking water supply, best practices in resilience, sustainability, and investment.
Now, the German Development Bank operating in Ghana is calling for close collaboration between Ghana and other African economies to leverage artificial intelligence to drive the economic growth of the continent. Speaking to Joy Business, Country Director Ant Wareham said the recently held 3i Africa Summit is a testament of the enormous opportunities digitalization brings in transforming the economy.
I hope that the collaborations among African countries and with the rest of the world will increase. This was a recurring theme throughout formal and informal discussions. This collaboration includes access to technology, invention of homegrown technology, increased interoperability of different payment and banking systems, proper policy coordination for regulation to enable conducive framework conditions, not increasing red tape. All in all, more efficient operation of businesses and reduced transaction costs will lead to higher competitiveness of local businesses, a basis for higher growth and more decent jobs for Africa's young population. I think that's what unleashing Africa's fintech and digital economy potential means.
And that said, more business news on the marketplace at the top of the hour, up in exports.
Good afternoon. Let's do sports now on JN Today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, the University of Ghana Stadium already appears to be burdened with sporting activities despite being completed about 3 months ago. The facility has hosted over 10 activities, raising concerns about the maintenance of the infrastructure and its long-term durability. My colleague Daniel Cranton has the rest of the story.
Attraction. The action or feature which makes something interesting or desirable. The evolution of mankind has pointed to a plethora of identical and recurring behaviors, including a strong attraction to new things or people. The sight of something new releases the feel-good hormone known as dopamine. It's responsible for giving a sense of pleasure and also motivation to do something. To put it simply, when we see a new object, our brain experiences a dopamine rush. This release of dopamine motivates us to seek and explore the new object. Once you get used to the object, once it becomes familiar to you and there's nothing new to experience from it, then the release of dopamine comes to a halt. This is known as the psychology of novelty, and this phenomenon is probably the main killer of our sporting infrastructure in Ghana. The Cape Coast Stadium, commissioned in 2016, hosted over 100 high-profile games within the first 3 years of its opening. From Black Stars games, Women's AFCON to the Wafu Cup of Nations, almost everything sports was hosted at the venue during the period. This obviously led to the facility being burdened and in dire need of a facelift months to the 2024 African Games earlier this year. The Accra Stadium received a much-needed makeover in 2018 prior to the Women's AFCON, its first since 2008. Upon completion, the pressure began, or should I say, it continued. Over 160 league matches were hosted at the venue within the first 2 years of renovation, not taking into consideration training sessions, major tournaments, and other non-sporting activities. With Cape Coast and Accra slowly deteriorating and deemed not fit for purpose, Ghana found a new love just in time for the 2022 FIFA World Cup playoff game against Nigeria. A new-look Baba Yara Sports Stadium, which had been closed down for over a year for renovation works. The edifice has now played host to over 50 league games since its reopening, including Black Stars home matches. All this with very little maintenance works being done. The country's knack for using and dumping sporting infrastructure in favor of a newer edifice is an attitude Uncle Joe from the famed Ghanaian sitcom Sun City would be proud of. The newest in this seemingly unending cycle of abuse is a University of Ghana Stadium. Commissioned earlier this year for the African Games, the facility has already begun to attract event organizers. At just 2.5 months old, the University Stadium has already hosted 14 football games, which include the African Games and the Wafu Under-17 Championships, as well as track and field competitions. The MTN FA Cup, which features 2 Brong-Ahafo-based clubs, has been scheduled for the University Stadium in Accra, just a week after the Wafu Under-17 competition is completed. However, Director of Sports at the University of Ghana, Dr. Bello Butugu, whose office is in charge of the maintenance of the facility, assures it will not suffer the same fate as all the other sporting infrastructure.
And you know, one of the major issues we have in Ghana is maintenance. Not only in sporting facilities, not in fact, in the literature they keep talking about sporting facilities and public facilities, but even private ones. We build homes, we get rooms, after some years we don't maintain, we have the same thing every time. So then let me tell you one thing, proven empirically, ascertained and manifested in literature, etc., that in this part of the world especially, but generally, right, sporting facilities are best maintained when they are in educational institutions. And that is why the University of Ghana is going to prove to the whole world, especially Ghanaians, the University of Ghana is able and capable, knows the difficulties and has the wherewithal to get this stadium to a level where we say, yes, excellent maintenance and sustainability. And there is a concept that has been prepared. And I believe that in a few years we'll look back and say, fantastic, the best decision ever.
The fact is, we have heard such promises before in the past, and that did not stop the inevitable. But as American author Brandon Sanderson said, words are where most change begins. We can only hope that this is where the country turns over a new leaf.
And that's how we end the sports on JN Today. My name is Harun Mubarak. World News comes up shortly.
Good afternoon, you're welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah. Unbelievable was the word Judge Amanda Holden used to describe Ghanaian dancers Afronita and Abigail's semi-final performance on the 2024 Britain's Got Talent. The duo delivered an electrifying routine showcasing their extraordinary talent and Ghanaian heritage. We have more.
Their journey on Britain's Got Talent is not just a personal achievement, but a collective triumph for Ghana. Yesterday, Britain's Got Talent announced the semi-finalists on the official Instagram page, with Afronita and Abigail being the first act featured in the video, showcasing their breathtaking performance. Their performance earned them a standing ovation, leaving the crowd buzzing with excitement and showering them with praise even during the judges' evaluation statement. Even the toughest of them all, Judge Simon Cowell, praised Afronita and Abigail, acknowledging their stunning performance and unique flair.
100%. I absolutely love it when I cannot hear what I'm saying because, as Alicia said, they're saying it all.
When you've got it, you've got it. That was, I thought last night, yeah, I've got a feeling I know who's going to win the show this year, and I've just changed my mind.
Their dazzling display skyrocketed them to the next stage of the competition, leaving audience and judges alike in awe.
The winner of tonight's semi-final, going straight through to Sunday's final, is Abigail and Afronita.
Afronita couldn't hide her excitement after the performance, expressing her joy and gratitude for the overwhelming support.
I feel blessed. Honestly, this is a big testimony for me, for Abigail, for Ghana, for everyone that supports us, and we are so grateful. Honestly, it's been so emotional. I don't know what to say, but yeah, thank you to God.
Across the globe, Ghanaians took to social media to celebrate the achievements of Afronita and Abigail, aged 20 and 7 respectively. The duo has garnered a massive following, with a huge number of the public rooting for these young girls to take home the top prize. As the competition heats up, all eyes are on Afronita and Abigail to see just how far their incredible talent will take them. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
Well, congratulations to her. Away from that, with the TGMAs coming up this weekend, nominees are making their cases for why they deserve to win in their respective categories. One of them is Olive the Boy, who is feeling hopeful and confident that he will take home the new Artist of the Year. Additionally, he revealed his top 3 picks for the coveted Artist of the Year award. Olive the Boy has been speaking to my colleague Nicholas Ekoyamwa.
Olive the Boy, congratulations on your nomination for the new Artist of the Year.
Big God, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Are you winning it?
We're winning it.
Why?
I really deserve it.
What sets you apart from the other nominees?
I don't want to go too much into them, but let me just put a few stuff out there. About the song "Good Sing" was #1. You understand? On Shazam in Nigeria and in Ghana, you don't get that easily. You understand? We were able to enter the top 100 for Apple Music Nigeria, Ghana, all the same. It was organic. You didn't understand what I tried to. And then, it was loud. I think it was #1 in Liberia. it got to #1 in Sierra Leone too. You know, the numbers be crazy. The whole EP Seth where Good Thing come out of, he get like over 200 million streams already. You understand? A lot of things actually go inside. I don't know people that my numbers, but then that's mine, and I feel like Good Thing did a lot of work last year. He did about so.
Do you think will win the Artist of the Year for you?
For me, this question is actually very. Sorry. I wouldn't be able to say, but like
your top 3.
Okay, top 3, right? Top 3. Sarkodie, Stonebwoy, or King Promise.
You cannot choose one out of the 3.
I mean, I could. I actually the root for King Promise, but then probably you see, it take a lot. You understand? Sometimes we watch probably just the numbers, then a few thoughts we see, the performances and stuff, but it take a lot for the board to actually award a person or an artist. You understand? So to me, the few we see, like I will go for King Promise, but then let's see what happens on the day.
Well, are you ready for the biggest soccer event of the year? The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey event, loved by soccer enthusiasts everywhere, is back for its 13th edition tomorrow, happening at the Aviation Social Center. My colleague Nana Kwame has been sharing more on what patrons are to expect tomorrow.
Going to be bigger and better. I mean, we've done this 13 times. There's going to be a 5-a-side tournament. That's something that most people look forward to. It's like a tournament between the stars or the celebrities on Hits FM. They have their own teams. They come together, battle it out to find out who gets the bragging rights for this particular season. And we are looking forward to see the likes of Dr. Pounds, Mekwe, and Dusty.
Mention him first.
I mean, these guys are the guys who always come on radio, make noise about their team. That's one event that I want our patrons or you listening to me out there to look forward to. That's the Rep Your Jersey quiz. Yes, so this is where we have this ongoing quiz that we do on radio. We chose our finalists today on the morning show on Hits, and then they come. We ask them questions like a quiz spearheaded by Nathan Atto, and then they ask questions about the Champions League. So it's like a quiz. It's like a 3 or 4 round quiz, and it's big. It's really big. People really look forward to that as well. So a lot of things will be happening that day. There'll be vendors there who, if you want some food, if you want something, people will be selling jerseys there as well. You come.
That's a wrap for the showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline and Suma Yabra. But for I'm expecting to see you tomorrow.
Yes, I'll be there. I'll be there with my jersey. I'm repping Chelsea full time. We're winning the trophy next season. You should expect that.
Real Madrid is still in. I'm a Real Madrid fan so tomorrow I'll be there with my Real Madrid jersey. We are definitely winning tomorrow.
Of course. Now I'm looking forward to also audition for Britain's Got Talent. I'll be doing singing there, so anticipate that.
I'll collaborate with you.
Thank you, Jackie, for entertainment. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Stafford. Good afternoon.